China economy strong, building strong economy, economy for China, for China. China strongest country in world. China invent everything, everything. No other economy even strong compared to China, to China. Yes, before we begin, I learned a fact the other day. Do you know what the word is in the Japanese language for strong? It's China. China is Japanese for strong because China is the word for strong in all languages. Because that's just how strong China economy is. Okay, now that that off topic is over, we're back looking at the strongest country in the world and the strongest economy in the world as we chronicle China's continuing attempts to become a global superpower. And its attempts to develop the strongest economy on Earth. So we have a dystopian lake filled by the world's tech lust. Keep in mind, immediately, this is the BBC, and I'll post a link to this. The BBC is immediately blaming other countries for it, specifically the West. It's not because of bad policy in China. It's not because of the incompetence and corruption of the Chinese government. It's because of other countries, because China just had to build it for them. Hidden in an unknown corner of Inner Mongolia is a toxic, nightmarish lake created by our thirst for smartphones, consumer gadgets, and green tech. Well, I thought green tech was a good thing. China following grain revolution. China make green energy by destroying environment. Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. Anyways, from where I'm standing, the city-sized Baogang Steel and Rare Earth Complex dominates the horizon. Its endless cooling towers kind of looks like sounds like the Matrix. And chimneys reach up into the sky, washed out sky. It's a gray washed up sky between it and me. Stretching to the distance lies an artificial lake filled with a black, barely liquid toxic sludge. Wait a minute, they made a lake out of toxic sludge? They just dumped it there with no treatment? Actually, maybe this is a better reference to the Matrix, because this kind of looks like the world of the Matrix after the nukes and shit scorched the Earth's surface. And then we got like the factory where like the Chinamen are hooked up to the Matrix. Hooking up to Matrix to power China economy, economy. Matrix most efficient means of organizing economy, economy. Actually, that's probably a pretty good metaphor. I could actually see the Chinese government just plugging everyone into like a supercomputer or something and using that to run the economy. That's like plausible. Dozens of pipes line the shore, churning out a torrent of thick black chemical waste from the factories that surround the lake. The smell of sulfur and the roar of pipes invades my senses. It feels like hell on earth. Well, yeah. Welcome to Baotao, the largest industrial city in Inner Mongolia. I'm here with a group of architects and designers called the Unknown Fields Division. And this is the final stop on a 3-week journey up the global supply train, tracing the route of consumer goods take from China to our shops and homes via container ships and factories. Because we all know no one else on Earth uses tech products except for white people. Not the Japanese, not the Africans, not the Saudis, not the Latin Americans. None of them use tech products. It's just white people. It's one of the world's biggest suppliers of rare earth materials. These elements can be found in everything from magnets and wind turbines and electric car motors to the electronic guts of smartphones and flat-screen TVs. In 2009, China produced 95% of the world's supply of these elements, and it's estimated that the mines north of Baotao contain 70% of the world's reserves. China economy contain all rare earth elements. Rare earth elements belong to China. China. China is heavenly kingdom for rare earth elements. Yeah, so that's just more evidence of how strong China is. Um, Element of success. Rare earth minerals have played a key role in the transformation and explosive growth of China's world-beating economy. They literally say China economy is strong. China's world-beating economy. I think we need the gong just for that. That it's had a huge transformative impact on the city too. As the 21st century gold rush, Betil feels very much like a frontier town. Okay, let's see here. So the population's increased by 2,500%. As a result, Baotuo often feels stuck somewhere between a brave new world of opportunity presented by the global capitalism that depends upon it, and the fading memories of communism that still lie in its Soviet-era boulevards. Billboards for expensive American brands stand next to Revolution-era propaganda murals, as the okay, whatever. Even before getting to the toxic lake, the environmental impact of the rare earth industry on the city has been painfully clear. At times, it's impossible to tell where the vast structure of the refinery complex ends and where the city begins, while having them live in the factory is a lot more efficient. Massive pipes erupt from the ground and run alongside roadways and sidewalks, arching into the air to cross roads like bridges. The streets here are wide, built to accommodate the constant stream of huge diesel belching coal trucks that dwarf all other traffic. Well, it's good. Look at this. Look at that guy making China economy strong. Probably die of cancer in a couple of years, but makes China economy strong. Um, as it rains, they plow unstoppable through roads flooded with water turned black by coal dust. They line up by the sides of the road, queuing to turn. Okay, let's see here. So it's all based on coal fire, is basically what this is. It's the kind of industrial landscape that America and Europe have largely forgotten. I doubt they were ever this bad, because everything is just bigger in China. One of the first places visits was to a factory that produces cerium, one of the most abundant rare earth elements, which is used to color glass and make catalytic converters. The guide who shows us around the plant explains that they produce cerium oxide used to polish touchscreens on smartphones and tablets. Really? You need a rare earth metal to do that? You can't just use some, like, cleaning fluid or something? I don't know. As we were wandering through the factory's hangar-like rooms, it's impossible not to notice that something is missing. There are no people. In fact, there's no activity at all. Apart from our voices, which echo through the huge sheds, the plant is silent, is very obviously not operating. When asked, the guide tells us the plant is closed for maintenance, but there's no sign of that either. No maintenance crews, no cleaning or repairs being done. When pushed further, our guides get suspicious, wonder why we are asking so many countries, and clams up. It's behavior we encounter a lot, a refusal to answer questions or stay off a strictly worded script. Western journalists try to uncover secret of China economy. How factory work is state secret. Get bullet in the head in mobile execution van. If you say something, yeah, who the fuck even knows? We'll see if they explain it. As we leave, one of our party who has visited the area before suggests a possible explanation. Could local industry be artificially controlling market scarcity of products like cerium oxide in order to keep rare earth prices high? We can't know for sure that this is the case the day we visited. Okay. Yet it would not be unprecedented. Okay, so they're fixing rare earth metal prices. Does nowhere on Earth else on Earth have rare earth metals? Like, really? Do we have to buy all of them from China? Okay. Neodymium. Oh, okay. Yeah. Its most important use is making powerful yet lightweight magnets. Okay, so basically it's just important. Um, they're actually fairly common. Neodymium is no rarer than copper or nickel and quite evenly distributed through the Earth's crust. While China... Okay. Okay, so sorry, I'm just reading this quickly, so I don't have to read bore you with technical descriptions. So basically, both these metals are actually pretty common. It's just the rest of the world won't produce it because it's extremely toxic, destructive to the environment, and poisons the land for generations. But China economy is strong, so it can absorb it. Million Chinamen die to produce neodymium, which make economy strong. China corner global market by giving people cancer. That's pretty much the reason. Let's see here. Apparently created by damming a river and flooding what was once farmland, the lake is a tailings pond, a dumping ground for lake byproducts. The early reports claim that the lake is guarded by the military. We pass a shack. Okay, so the military. We pass a shack that was presumably a guard hut at one point, but is abandoned now. Whoever was here left in a hurry, leaving everything behind when they did, because it was so toxic. Even China army wouldn't do it. We reach the shore and look across the lake. I've seen some photos before I left for Inner Mongolia, but nothing prepared me for the sight. It's a truly an alien environment, dystopian and horrifying. The thought that it was man-made depressed and terrified me, as did the realization that this is the fault of white people. You can see the lake on Google Maps, and that hints at the scale. Zoom in far enough and you can make out the dozens of pipelines that line the shore. Okay. So, let's see here. There's also radioactive clay. Um, what? We're using this radioactive clay to make a series of ceramic vessels modeled on traditional Ming vases? Each proportion based on the amount of toxic waste? What the hell? Yeah. So there we go. That is China economy strong. In pursuit of making their economy the strongest country on earth, they have created a living hell, which will probably poison the entire water table of the Eurasian continent. Probably eventually there'll be a hot day, and that shit'll get into the atmosphere and poison most of the world. But it's all worth it if the China economy becomes strong. So to play you out, or to end the show as Bill O'Reilly would say, I'm gonna sing the other song I have. I've been meaning to use this for a while, but I hadn't really come up with a good idea, so I'll just make moment, China moment. This is China moment to shine.